This is DJ here. Do apologize. I know I've been on a break for a while, and as a new streamer, my communication isn't super good with social media and everything yet. I've been on vacation, and the Premier League has been gone. Soccer's been gone since the end of the Champions League, but Premier League is back today. I am back from vacation, and we're here for the second half of West Ham Newcastle. I do apologize for not being on for the first half. I had some things to take care of this morning, but we're going to be here for the second half. Also going to apologize early. My timer, I still haven't quite figured out the timer issue. I know one of my followers caught on to this last time, that when it counts up past an hour, it goes to like 1 hour 30 instead of counting up to 90. So I still got to figure that one out. I haven't found a great solution for it yet. Unfortunately, not quite Mark Goldbridge yet with some of the understanding and resources, but we will continue to work on that. But so we're just going to do a 45 timer for the second half, just so we have an accurate count up. But do keep in mind it is the second half of West Ham Newcastle. You can see some of the ratings up here on FootMob right now.
Today's game in East London is just one of more than 175 exclusive Premier League.
I gotta mute that. Yep. So we do have the stats up for some of the players. It was a pretty dreary first half between the two sides. A couple chances here and there. You saw West Ham hit the bar twice, and a couple of breaks for Newcastle off of mistakes from West Ham, particularly Pablo Fornals. So can see some of the ratings there, but we do still have a 0-0 game. I can see it going either way. I was mentioning to a couple of my a friend of mine via phone that I was a little disappointed that Newcastle lined up in a 4-4-2. I think they have a lot of options with the signings they just made in Callum Wilson and Fraser, and aren't really using them, but maybe it's a little too early for them in the season. So players are coming back out. We'll go into broadcasting mode, and I'll chat a little bit at the end of the game. I know I've been off the air for quite a while here, and I won't be able to stream tomorrow either, but with the Premier League back, with all the leagues coming back for the new season here after COVID lockdown, we should be getting a pretty consistent schedule up starting basically on Monday for the last game of this first weekend in the Premier League. And so do appreciate your patience. I do apologize for being gone for so long, but we are back, and I'm excited to get back to broadcasting. So do appreciate anyone joining today, and hope you do enjoy the stream. Bubbles are out here for West Ham. They are looking for a goal here still. Moyes set up in a pretty standard 4-2-3-1 with Antonio alone up front. This game's about to get started. I'll start the timer, get into broadcasting mode, and then I'll see you guys at the end. So this one restarts as Mark Noble going to send this back to Diop. He'll look long towards Michail Antonio, wins the header there. And in the box is Jared Bowen, but does get crowded out by the Newcastle defense. Lascelles now with some composure, able to bring this one down. Will clip this one long, but easily read by West Ham. And ends up with Noble, who clears it very high into the air, and the eventual clearance finds the feet of Shelvey. Here's a good connection to Callum Wilson, dropping deep, looking wide right to Shelvey. Shelvey going to cut this one back onto his left foot, loops it across, but misses Carroll. It ends up at the feet of Ryan Fredericks there, but Newcastle will win this ball back in midfield. Cut back here, all the way back to Darlow here. He's going to look up, doesn't see any options. He'll look long towards Andy Carroll, who is starting up front in this 4-4-2 for Newcastle. Definitely a huge aerial threat. We've seen a couple opportunities for him across this match. Did have a good shot earlier in the game, deflected as a little bit of a wayward pass there from Newcastle will be easily picked off by Diop. Now you can see Souček on it. Some slow play here from West Ham, just happy to move it side to side. Now it's with Ogbonna. Aaron Cresswell pushed way up the left-hand line here. Will receive the pass and just be forced back to Ogbonna. West Ham just shifting this one across. Still kind of looking for that sort of breakthrough. They have had the better of the chances in this match, but really hasn't been any offensive tempo from either side to speak of in this match. Been very broken up. Newcastle in a 4-4-2. Their strategy sort of to go long to Carroll, one that does tend to break a play, but here's a nice interception from Isaac Hayden. It ends up at the feet of Callum Wilson. He is chased back into his defensive line by West Ham pressure, but will retain possession, and now Lascelles finds it at his feet. Now Federico Fernandez goes out wide to Jamal Lewis, signed a couple of weeks ago, along with Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson by this Newcastle side, looking to add some depth, and jumps right into the starting side here. A nice crossfield ball, and now into Wilson at the top of the box. There's an open player on the left, but not calling for it was Carroll. He's a deflected cross and pushed out of bounds by Ryan Fredericks at the end. Looks like it will be a Newcastle corner. Carroll now trying to point out to Callum Wilson that he was open on the left here. If you take a look at the far side of your screen, you can see Andy Carroll really unmarked there, but Wilson not picking his head up, puts a blind cross in, and it is well defended at the end of the day by a combination there of Declan Rice and Ryan Fredericks at the back post. So corner opportunity here for Newcastle. Can imagine they'll be looking for Fernandez, Lascelles, and Carroll sort of at that back post. Expect a driven ball here from John Joe Shelvey, who will take the corner. Here's the driven ball to the back post. Going up is Ogbonna. He will head this one away. It's collected by Jeff Hendrick. Finds its way back to Javier Manquillo, I believe, and will go all the way back to Darlow. Manquillo opens up here on the right and will receive the pass. Gets his head up. Going to go long here, this time towards Wilson. He's easily beaten in the air by Ogbonna. Hendrick trying to settle this one under pressure from Antonio. Does manage to get it to Manquillo. Deflected pass here will go out for a Newcastle throw. It's taken quickly up towards Wilson. Bit of a scrum. Ball does end up at the feet of Andy Carroll. Fends off a West Ham player and will fire it back all the way to Darlow. Now here's Shelvey dropping deep to pick up possession. Isaac Hayden will go back to Fernandez. Fernandez here, happy to take his time, will pick out Shelvey. He's quickly pressured by Pablo Fornals. They don't want to let him sit on the ball here deep. Will force Federico Fernandez into a long pass. Does not manage to keep it in there on the far side is Manquillo, and this one will be a throw to West Ham. So again, a pretty choppy start here to this second half from both sides. Not a lot of offensive flow. This is the first game of a new season. A lot of new signings in here for Newcastle, and a 4-4-2 formation that may not have been played all the time last year. Here's Ogbonna lifting this one up the line. Well collected by Antonio. He holds off Manquillo, finds Declan Rice. Rice, good slipped pass into Mark Noble. Has a little bit of room to run here. Will find Antonio on the line. Isolated with Manquillo. Look across. Crosses one back post. Running in is Souček. Will not get there. It's headed away by Fernandez. And one at the back post by St. Maximin. St. Maximin dribbling this one out of the back, looking for a pass to connect with. Will take on Souček. Gets it poked away, but does end up at the feet of Jamal Lewis and will be placed back at the feet of Lascelles now. Lascelles and Fernandez moving this one back and forth between the two of them. We'll look up to Hayden. Just comes right back to the central defenders and all the way back to Darlow as Antonio here is here to pressure. Darlow will look long with his left foot. Will not quite pick out Andy Carroll's. That one looked like it picked off by Souček. But now Lewis has it. He looks up the field. Good check-in from Wilson, but doesn't quite connect. It ends up at Diop's feet. Ogbonna will reset to Fabianski, who will just hit this one long. First time, a push off there by Lascelles, and he will be called for the foul on Antonio. No complaints there. A pretty obvious push off. Both hands in the back of the West Ham striker, who was so prolific at the end of last season, scoring goal after goal during West Ham's run to keep themselves in the Premier League after such a slow season for them, finishing well below the places that they would have liked, sort of at the middle of the table, 8th to 11th place, and finishing down there around 7th or 16th. Not the spot that this team would have wanted to be in. We've heard rumors of Moyes looking for reinforcements to add on to the addition of Souček last season towards the end of the year, particularly a center back. There has been some interest in James Tarkowski. But in the meantime, Ogbonna, the current center back, will move this one out left to Cresswell. Cresswell looking up and putting his hands in the air, not seeing any options. You can see not a lot of inroads still for either team. Just being played in between the defenders. Now Jared Bowen checking back for this one will be harried off of it. So Ogbonna looking up will go wide towards Cresswell, but he's pressured by Hendrick, and it goes back to Ogbonna, pressured by Carroll. This one's probably going to end up back at the feet of Fabianski, and it does. Good defensive pressure there from Newcastle, but again, no inroads for West Ham. They'll go back to Ogbonna here. He's going to look long, easily headed away by Federico Fernandez, but it is picked up in midfield by Declan Rice. Tries to spray a ball out towards Bowen, but completely misses him with that one. Holds up his hand in apology as that will go out harmlessly for a throw. 52 minutes on the clock here, and once again, you can see no rhythm, no tempo from either side. Both managers probably wondering how they can start to affect this match as we approach the hour mark. And hope to see some sort of change in their side's fortunes. Again, I think West Ham will feel a little hard done by a couple of chances coming off the woodwork in the first half, but really not generating a ton for themselves, particularly at the beginning of the second half as little scrum ends up with St. Maximin on the ball, and he will be clipped from behind as he goes between two players. Fredericks is incensed at the referee, but he will receive a yellow card. It is about his third or fourth foul on St. Maximin in this game, and that yellow card was certainly coming for the right back of West Ham. You can see a pretty poor challenge there in general, actually, from Fredericks as Souček misses it entirely, and kind of both legs being raised at a certain point there. St. Maximin taken down pretty harshly, and definitely deserved yellow from Fredericks, who may be on a bit of a short fuse. He fouled St. Maximin pretty hard a couple times in the first half, and was probably very fortunate to get away without a yellow in that period of play. Shelvey now over the ball will launch this one long towards Carroll. He will head it down to Federico Fernandez at the top of the box, but his pass is picked off by Bowen. Bowen looks long for Michail Antonio, but can't connect with him, and it's back with Shelvey. He'll look long once again. Believe this one is towards Manquillo over on the right. Nobody wins that header, and it will dribble out for a throw-in. Aaron Cresswell will pick up the loose ball here. It's going to be moved back by the referee, who was trying to take that one a little bit too far forward. Now way back in his own corner. Looking up the field for some options here. Going to go over the head of Hendrick towards Antonio. It's won by Manquillo and collected by Hendrick. Shifts himself around Declan Rice pretty nicely. Now inside the box, but it is flicked away by Ogbonna, and Rice will collect. Now met by Andy Carroll, cuts it back, gets a little bit of room and clears this one away. Good first time pass there by Fernandez out to Manquillo. Two-man game between him and Hendrick. The ball ends up coming off Hendrick. He flicks it over the top towards Manquillo, who may be offsides, but gets a cross in. It's well read by Souček, who intercepts that one. The clearance out, though, is collected by Newcastle once again. And here's Hayden. Now Shelvey. A little bit of pressure maybe mounting here for Newcastle. St. Maximin picking it up. Overlapping run on the left from Jamal Lewis. Souček almost goes in for a tackle. Decides against it. Now Manquillo. Looking up, nice move there, does get a little bit of space. His cross is deflected, it finds Hendrick at the near post, and it's a goal for Callum Wilson as he sticks his leg up there and knocks that one into the near post. There's no flag raised. I'm sure this one will be checked, but as of now, this looks to be a good goal for Newcastle United, and they take the lead 1-0. We look at the replay here. This ball comes out to Manquillo, makes a nice shift inside, gets a little bit of room to work on this right side. This cross is deflected, but great work by Hendrick at the near post as he flicks that on. And Callum Wilson, just the first to be alert to this ball, standing in a great position, gets his foot up and beats Fabianski to the spot, able to get his foot on it and push it in at the near post there before the goalkeeper can get his fist on it. And it looks like a clean goal to me. I think the only thing it could be called back for is a high foot. And it looks like that will not be the case. And it looks like Newcastle will keep this lead. Callum Wilson's first goal for his new club on his debut will give Newcastle the 1-goal cushion here against West Ham. Play restarts here as it's Jeff Hendrick clearing this one away, and Wilson almost getting on top of this one again. He does. Beats Ogbonna to it. Carroll making a run inside, going to be clipped towards him. He collects it, but it's taken off of him by Diop, who will move it ahead to Mark Noble. Out to Bowen now. Cutting inside, looking for an option. Will cut it back. Finds an overlapping Fredericks. Fredericks with some room to work here. Will cross this one in. Headed away well by Lascelles. It's collected by Bowen. Looks inside. Passes intercepted by Manquillo. And now there's some room to work here for Newcastle. Can feel the pace of this game picking up after that goal. Nice ball out back to Manquillo. It's a 3 versus 6 here. Taking some time to let some of the Newcastle players get up the field, and we'll just reset it back to Shelvey. Newcastle now a little bit happier to slow down the game. 57 minutes with that goal lead. They want to force West Ham out of their shell, out of the defensive shape that they have, and try to start exploiting some of the space in behind. Lascelles looking forward for Andy Carroll. He will win the header, and St. Maximin is onto this one. Cuts it back, looks up, crossing this one in towards Wilson. Headed away by Diop. It will be a corner to Newcastle. And just like that, we get some energy into the game. You can see what a goal can do. A lot of space happening on these last couple of counterattacks, both from West Ham and Newcastle, and a renewed energy to a game that looked and felt very, very dead before that goal went in from Callum Wilson. Lascelles whispering something into Andy Carroll's ears. They're setting up for maybe a training ground play here. All 4 big men. Hayden, Federico Fernandez, Carroll at the back post. Here's the ball from Shelvey. Looks like a foul push in the back by Lascelles onto Declan Rice. He is upset about that one, but did look to be on offense on the center back for Newcastle there, as we see Felipe Anderson and a couple other West Ham players getting warm here on the sideline, now trailing by 1 goal. May need the creative impetus a player like Felipe Anderson can bring to try to get themselves back into this one. David Moyes here in conversation with his assistant, as we do still approach the 60-minute mark here, just ticking over to 59. Here's Michael Antonio on the left, trying to get around Lascelles. Doing a nice job holding this one up, but some excellent help there, I believe, by Manquillo. Comes back and strips that one off of Antonio. Looks long for Carroll, but does overplay him. It ends up at the feet of Diop, who will go back to Fabianski. Now it's Rice under pressure from Jeff Hendrick. And Fabianski forced to play out to Diop once again. West Ham happy to slow it down a little bit here. Souček moving it over to Ogbonna. Looking up, assessing his options here. You can see the 2 blocks of 4 players for Newcastle in front of them, as well as Callum Wilson dropped off into a defensive shape here. It now goes across towards Jared Bowen. Sorry, that's Noble. Now Declan Rice. Going to look wide for Cresswell. Skips him and goes up to Pablo Fornals. Fornals across to Noble here. Looks wide to Fredericks. Bowen trying to get himself open. Nice little 1-2. Will find Fredericks, but it is cut out by Federico Fernandez. Will head that one out for a throw. He just crested the the hour mark here. 30 minutes remaining. West Ham trailing by a goal scored by Callum Wilson on the assist from Jeff Hendrick. Definitely a very scrappy goal to say the least, but on a deflected cross flicked on by Hendrick. But Callum Wilson, alert as ever at the near post, able to get there before Fabianski and open his Newcastle account, as Antonio's well defended here by Shelvey, but gets a little unfortunate and sees his last touch roll out for a corner kick to West Ham. Jared Bowen will go to retrieve this one. See what West Ham can do with their set play, as we can see Ogbonna and Diop coming up here to match with Souček. Will be crossed in by Bowen here. Excellent header out by Andy Carroll. Came charging out from the goal line to get his head on that one. Will be collected by West Ham. It's now with Rice, who breezes past Callum Wilson. Good cross in, but it's well read by Jamal Lascelles, who's able to clear that one out for a throw-in. A little bit lazy there was Callum Wilson on the defense. Let Declan Rice shift right by him and crossed into a good area, but a lot of Newcastle shirts in the box right now, able to defend. And looks like West Ham going to set up for a bit of a long throw routine here, as Antonio, giving himself a lot of space on the touchline, will run up, throw this one in. He's aiming for Ogbonna. Sorry, it's Souček. The header comes back towards Antonio. He will get there second. It's won by Manquillo. That one's cleared out by Hendrick. Last touch does come off a West Ham player there, and it will be Newcastle ball. So 62 minutes on the clock as we see Callum Wilson, the goal scorer there. Again, recently acquired from Bournemouth, relegated at the end of last season. Player who's had 2 knee surgeries throughout his career, but really revived himself in his first season at Bournemouth after coming back from injury before the struggles of the prior campaign that ended in their relegation. Does find himself on a new Premier League team as Hendrick making some nice moves here on the right touchline. Able to get by Cresswell initially. Was forced back, and the cross here deflected from Manquillo. That one will end up going off of Manquillo for a goal kick. So West Ham going to need to come up with something. Again, they have not looked very lively on the offensive end in this half, and this clearance from Fabianski finding absolutely no one, landing at the feet of Isaac Hayden, who's happy to just send this one back to his goalie. Doesn't quite get enough on it and almost falls into the path of Michail Antonio, but alert there is Darlow able to come off his line and knock that one away before any harm is done. Fredericks will restart this one. Looks back towards Diop. Comes over to Rice, who's playing in the back 4 right now, allowing Cresswell to push high up the left touchline. You can see Souček looking for this one as Cresswell retreats into the picture. Fredericks sitting out wide on the touchline here, but is met by St. Maximin. Will be forced back to Diop. You just see not a lot of ideas here from West Ham. Diop just flinging another ball up the field. It's easily won there by Fernandez against Michail Antonio and cleared up. Noble down to Souček, but Hayden does a nice job getting his body in the way. It's now with Shelvey. Going to loop this one up towards St. Maximin, but it will go out of play. Moyes potentially looking at some options for some of his substitutes as we are at 64 minutes. Has one sub standing next to him already, starting to give him instructions as Ogbonna moves this one up the field. Cresswell's met with too much pressure and is forced back. So Newcastle in very good defensive shape, forcing West Ham into awkward positions. Another long ball here from Diop, hoping to pick out Antonio, but this one will miss him and roll out for a goal kick. See, not a lot of ideas here for West Ham, and a couple subs being prepared for just that reason. Sebastian Haller and Andrew Yarmolenko are on the touchline here. You would suspect that Haller would come in for Michail Antonio, Yarmolenko probably for Fornals or Jared Bowen on one of the wings. Moyes could elect to change his shape to try to fit Haller and Michail Antonio, but we'll see what the decision is in just a couple minutes here as Newcastle going to restart this one. Good play there on the touchline by Andy Carroll. Will hold it up. It ends up at the feet of Manquillo. He's going to look long here towards Callum Wilson. Comes off of Ogbonna, I believe, and actually stays in play for Wilson. Tries to hold this up against Ogbonna, but the West Ham defender doing a nice job. Wins this one back. Hits it up the touchline and miscontrolled by Manquillo. The ensuing scrum for possession ends up with Manquillo. Now with Rice. Both teams fighting over this one on this near touchline and will come off of Lascelles as this one flicked up the field. And Michail Antonio kind of running through one of the Newcastle assistants, getting a couple of angry stares from both the management staff and the referee, and referee now talking to management and Antonio just to make sure no bad blood. You can see here on the replay one of the Newcastle coaches going for the ball. Antonio just kind of shoves him out of the way. And we will have a substitution here. Fornals is withdrawn, it looks like, for Haller, and Noble will be sacrificed for Andrei Yarmolenko. So we'll see what kind of formation Moyes is going for here. Has moved one of his anchor midfield players out for Andrei Yarmolenko, typically a winger, and Haller a high striker. Take a look at the shape here. Maybe in a 3 defensive set now. possibly a 3-5-2 of sorts here, as this one moved up the line by Cresswell to Antonio, who's now out here on the left touch line, going up against Lascelles. This one will deflect off of him for a corner. See the newly introduced Andriy Yarmolenko on for Mark Noble. Definitely much more of a defensive option is Noble, and so chasing the game here as we approach the 70th minute. Moyes opting for some more attacking creative options that can try to level this match, as getting ready for the corner kick here. Be a outswinger from the left from Cresswell. Goes very deep towards Declan Rice, headed back down to Haller. He flicks it into the box. There's a huge scrum in front of goal here. Sliding challenge, Hendricks with it, and it ends up in the hands of Darlow. Some complaints from the West Ham players, maybe looking for a handball or a foul there on the touchline. Very hard to see what was happening with so many bodies around the ball, but Newcastle have restarted this one. It goes up to Andy Carroll, but it's one back. Oh, that's a bad challenge there on the touchline from Manquillo. I would expect some form of punishment here, and yeah, referee reaching into his pocket. This should be at least a yellow card for the Newcastle right back, as he went straight through the back of, I believe, either Souček or Bowen. Not sure which one. You can see here the replay of what West Ham's complaining about. Yeah, it looks like they're complaining for a handball on Hendrick in front of the goal line there, off of Haller's cross. Referee had his finger to his ear, was definitely getting some information from the side, as we can see this challenge. It is onto Bowen here. Yeah, it's a very poor challenge by Manquillo. Really never intended to get the ball. His only intention was to take out the player, stop the counterattack, and definitely a deserved yellow card there for the right back. Moyes now in conversation with the center referee, who has not gone to check the monitor, so must have gotten the information that that was not enough for VAR to take a look at that one. As I believe we can see Kevin Nolan here now on the assistant, one of the assistants for West Ham, in conversation with the fourth official. West Ham will restart it while conversations continue, as Cresswell looking long here across the field for Haller. It's won by Carroll. Now battling for possession of St. Maximin. He will come away with it and be clipped by Andriy Yarmolenko. And Yarmolenko will get a foul just minutes, or a yellow card just minutes after coming onto the pitch. St. Maximin getting to his feet here. You can see here this battle for possession between Haller and Andy Carroll is eventually comes out to St. Maximin, and you can see he just gets clipped by Yarmolenko. A bit cynically. And as mentioned, just a couple minutes after coming on, Yarmolenko will find himself in the book. Newcastle will restart this one as we tick over 70 minutes, just 20 remaining now. Hey, Reese. Sorry, I think it's Reese. I am a Manchester United fan. I can type it in chat, too. I did have a comment in chat asking me who I'm a supporter of. I'm actually a Manchester United supporter. I don't have a jersey on today, but do enjoy calling all of the Premier League games. As this one restarted by Newcastle, a bit of a fight for possession here at the top of the West Ham box. Declan Rice will come away with this one, move himself up the field. Does find Yarmolenko for his first touch of the game after receiving that yellow card. He'll cut inside on his left, pick out Souček. Now across for Cresswell. A lot of West Ham shirts up the field here. You can see 6 in advance of Jared Bowen, who's on the ball right now. He will look back for Diop. Now Rice, just these 3 players behind the ball. Now we'll move this one up the line as Frederick's making a run. Picks him out well. Now it's Antonio inside the Newcastle box. Couple of players for company here. Looks back to Rice, who crosses it to the back post. Nice header away there by Manquillo. Will be collected by Bowen. Bowen against Manquillo now. Hendrick there for help. Right-handed cross will bounce off of Hendrick. It looked like it hit Manquillo's arm, but that was tucked way into his body. Nothing doing there, and he will clear that one out. will be restarted here by Ogbonna. So I do think Moyes is not sure if the shape is 3-5-2, but it's definitely sort of thrown caution to the wind here. You can see keeping only 2 defenders deep, really throwing everyone else up the field to chase this goal. Both of his outside backs, both Cresswell and Fredericks, being given the license to run. As we can see, Isaac Hayden here down in the center of the field. Not sure if this is an injury or cramp, as again, this is just the first game of the new season. A lot of players may still be fighting for some match fitness here. And Hayden definitely given a tough task in that defensive midfield role, having to sort of be everywhere to break up play, retain possession. As see a replay here of the goal. This cross deflected Hendrick there first. And it looks like even Callum Wilson might have came out second to that one. May have come off of his foot after being punched by Fabianski. They kind of arrive at the same time, but in the end, it does go into the near post, and that is the goal that separates the sides here on Callum Wilson's Newcastle debut. So players taking a break here as Hayden is still receiving attention. You can see one of the Newcastle substitutes getting ready here. So Hayden may not be able to continue. Not exactly sure who's getting ready here. Can't quite make out the name. Hayden walking off towards the sideline now. Definitely favoring his right foot here, or his right side. Looks like he will re-enter play for now. We'll see. Keep an eye on him to see how he deals with that knock. And if it will knock him out of the match soon. Do hope that it's nothing too serious here as Declan Rice now on the ball for West Ham. Here's Ogbonna picking his head up. Looking forward. We'll find Bowen, who's dropped deep here. Bowen going to loft this one forward towards Allaire. He loses out to Lascelles, and it's collected by Wilson, using his body nicely to hold off Souček. Good pass across to St. Maximin. Has room to run. Cutting inside. Looks across. Doesn't quite get the purchase on his pass he wanted, and Hendrick is forced back after checking his run. Hendrick with it again now. Will clip it up the line. Great ball into Manquillo, who is in behind Bowen. His cross into Wilson is poked away by an alert Fabianski. St. Maximin will collect at the end. He's going to shoot and just gets a little bit underneath this one, and it sails into the bleachers behind the goal. See, this is a great pass here from Hendrick. Finds Manquillo in behind Bowen. He looks for the easy cross into Wilson, but doesn't quite connect with him. It's poked away only as far as Maximin, and then a little bit off balance there, kind of running away from goal. Tries to find the power on the strike, but doesn't quite connect with it perfectly, and that one is always sailing high and wide from the Newcastle winger there. Hey, Michael. Yes, I am watching a real game right now. So Newcastle's playing West Ham. It's 75 minutes on the clock. I don't have a perfect timer there, but we're in the second half. You can see about 30 minutes have gone in the second half here. And there are 15 remaining. So 1-0 Newcastle on a Callum Wilson goal. Newcastle in possession again. Good interception here from Diop. This one hit long by Cresswell up the line towards Bowen. Lascelles reads it well, lets it go initially, then clears it out. In the meantime, we had a substitution for Newcastle. Joelinton coming on for Alan St. Maximin on that left wing. Just trying to get a pair of fresh legs in for the last 15 minutes of this match. Newcastle really looking to lock this one down, come away with their first victory of this new Premier League season. So a little foul here on Lascelles. Haller not in great position and is into the back of the Newcastle center back. Newcastle will be happy to take their time with this one. If you want to watch, Mike, this one is on NBC Peacock. It's a new streaming service they have. So I would go to NBC. I would just look up NBC Peacock, log in there, and they have a free trial that you can do. Otherwise, this is like a monthly subscription service. I believe not every Premier League game will be basically behind the Peacock barrier or will be, premium material, but this one is. So I would either sign up for a trial or maybe try to find a friend that has it. But it's NBC Peacock. All right, as we restart play here, West Ham is in possession again. Angelo Ogbonna moving this one up the field. Going to connect with Diop here on the right. Now into Declan Rice. Yarmolenko looks back to Diop. West Ham still finding issues trying to penetrate this defensive structure of Newcastle. They're being kind of forced to play in behind their defenders instead of up the field. But finally, Yarmolenko finds a good entry pass into Antonio. Holds up well, crossing in, headed away by Lascelles, and collected well by Wilson. Has a little bit of room to run, but has Yarmolenko for company. Andy Carroll has it poked off him, but Hendrick is first to it. Looks wide towards the newly introduced Joelinton. He will reset this one to John Joe Shelvey. Shelvey back into Joelinton. Joelinton going to shoot from the top of the box. It's blocked. Hendrick is now on it. Taking his player on 1v1. Looking for Joelinton at the top. Finds Shelvey at the top. His shot is blocked by Ogbonna. Comes out to Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko now. Looking for Jared Bowen. He will find him. Bowen is forced back, but is able to connect with Aaron Cresswell. Bunch of Newcastle shirts retreating here as West Ham moving this one slowly up the pitch. It's with Bowen in central midfield, looking wide left to Aaron Cresswell now. Cresswell looking at his options, will swing this one in towards Allaire. Allaire collecting it on his chest. Doesn't quite get down for Souček, and Bowen, met by Shelvey, will lose out on that challenge. Hendrick going in pretty hard on Rice, but Rice comes away with the ball. Now driving forward into the box. Has it poked off him by Manquillo. Cleared only as far as Michael Antonio. Antonio out to Cresswell. Cresswell crossing towards the back post. Believe that was deflected. Headed away by Joelinton and met by Isaac Hayden, who will just clear this one as far as he can. It will be picked up by Aaron Cresswell once again. A little bit of pressure here for West Ham. They've had a good spell of possession and starting to swing in some chances into the box. Starting to find some gaps in behind this defensive structure for Newcastle. Now Yarmolenko has Joelinton for company. Does dust him. Gets a shot off with his left foot, but it's deflected and gets away from it. Michail Antonio. It's cleared up the line by Hendrick, but Ogbonna collects. And West Ham will come again. Looking up the line to Cresswell. Cresswell up the line to Antonio. This is a good ball in behind Manquillo. Manquillo goes across. And that one is deflected away by Lascelles for a corner. This is I believe, the third corner of the half here for West Ham. And 80 minutes now on the clock. They need something to happen to even up this score line. Cresswell will stand over this one. Outswinging quarter kick from the left-hand side. Good deflected header there by Andy Carroll. Comes out for Yarmolenko, who shoots. This one goes through the bodies. I believe that one was deflected by a Newcastle player. It will go out for another corner kick. You can see here Carroll getting his head on this initial cross. It comes out to Yarmolenko, who gets a good first touch, and his shot really kind of pulls it, but just barely deflects off of a Newcastle player for another one. Here's Yarmolenko crossing this one in from the right. This one headed into the scrum, but finds the feet of Callum Wilson, who's able to clear that one away. Now it's Fredericks clipping this one wide for Cresswell. He settles for a flick pass up to Antonio, but not on the same page, and Manquillo reads it, clears it out up the line. 80 minutes now on the clock, 80 minutes, 30 seconds, just 10 minutes remaining in this half. We should have 2 to 3 minutes of stoppage time, most likely due to the Hayden injury in the middle of this half. So West Ham here was still about 13 to 14 minutes to try to even this one up. Long throw coming in from Antonio. Be headed away by Andy Carroll. Maybe hasn't had the impact he would have liked on the offensive end, but has been imperious in the box on defensive headers in this half. Here's Antonio at the top taking a shot that is deflected by his own player. Comes to the feet of Carroll, who now will find Shelvey with a little bit of room. Not a lot of support. Picks out Wilson, who's alone. Good tackle here by Cresswell. Will take the ball off Wilson. He looks forward. Wilson is there to pressure him. Does force Cresswell to cut it back. Now Declan Rice. Shifts this one across for Fredericks. Fredericks looking for some options. Is forced wide to Yarmolenko. Yarmolenko cuts back. Has Joelinton pressuring him. Now Antonio. 2 defenders there. Tries to nutmeg Jamal Lewis, but Jamal Lewis is equal to the task. Will take that one away, clear it up the left-hand touchline. See Ogbonna on it now. Almost 82 minutes. 8 minutes left in regulation. Couple minutes of stoppage time will follow. This pass from Yarmolenko is clipped by Wilson. Declan Rice has it now. Going to look long towards the right-hand touchline here, but easily picked off by Joelinton. He will slowly move this one up the field. Bit of a loose touch. His pass cannot connect with Andy Carroll. It's Diop now. He'll go back to Fabianski. West Ham restarting from their own goal now. But Newcastle not going to pressure that high, allowing them to get back towards midfield here. Good pass into Yarmolenko behind the midfield line. He drives forward, finds Fredericks on the right. First-time cross, looks for Antonio, but doesn't get there. It's picked off by Isaac Hayden, but Jamal Lewis with a bit of a mistake there. His touch gets away from him, and it's another corner here for West Ham. The 5th of this half for the Hammers. 83 minutes now, 7 minutes remaining. West Ham needs to take advantage of these opportunities. Try to get at least a shot on target. Look to equalize this game. Yarmolenko with a quick corner short. Collected by Fredericks. He looks up, clips this one in. Header at the near post by Allaire, but doesn't quite get any power on it. And Darlow able to keep that one in his grasp. We'll look to clear the lines for Newcastle here. And not a terrible ball from Fredericks. He's trying to pick out Allaire, but Allaire didn't have any momentum and really couldn't get any power on that header. So pretty easy pickings for Darlow there as this one cleared out by Newcastle towards Carroll. He loses out on the first header, gets a second chance here, but Rice will take it off of him. It's Ogbonna now. And Newcastle now completely happy to not have the ball at their feet, have abandoned any pretense of trying to keep possession. They're playing defensively, playing safe, and then trying to use Callum Wilson and Andy Carroll to hold up play, which Carroll will do here well as he draws a foul on Ogbonna and now on the ground, claiming to have some cramp here. We see a substitution getting ready for Newcastle. Looks like Miguel Almiron is ready to come on here. He's coming on for goal scorer Callum Wilson, who will be withdrawn after scoring what, as of now, is the winning goal on his Newcastle debut. Again, very scrappy goal, but Wilson very alert to the chance, and really one of the only chances Newcastle have had in the game, and Wilson taking advantage of the opportunity and making his mark on his debut for his new club. So Almiron on here, 84 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock, just 5.5 remaining in regulation. Again, should have 3 to 4 minutes of stoppage time as Carroll is now on his feet. Here's Manquillo, going to hit this one long. It's very low and driven. I believe he mishit that one. But the header clearance there comes to Shelby's feet, and Newcastle will retain possession. Almiron, first touch on the ball will find Joelinton. He cuts back, gets inside the box, going to find Almiron here with room to shoot. His shot is blocked by a retreating Souček. Very important intervention there by Souček. Although it looks like they may have caught Almiron offsides in the build-up. West Ham will restart. Souček looking wide now to Cresswell. Cresswell going to cut inside of Hendrick. Does get past Joelinton as well. Forced wide to Bowen. Bowen, who has been a little bit muted today, not able to really get into any dangerous positions for crosses, will find Rice. He runs forward. It's Rice again. Playing in between him, Yarmolenko, and Fredericks on this right-hand touchline. It's now Yarmolenko again. Tries to get it onto his left foot. Looks for a cut pass to Souček, but doesn't quite connect, and it's well read by Fernandez, and Darlow able to collect that one. So we tick over 86 minutes here. Time running out for David Moyes and West Ham as Darlow has this one. We'll look to clears. Looks like another substitution for Newcastle is getting ready for the next dead ball. Header here won by Diop, but it finds the feet of Almiron, and Newcastle able to retain possession. They're happy to just keep this one at their feet, kill the clock as much as possible. Good interplay here. We'll find Almiron. Good 1-2 with Carroll. Almiron driving forward. He gets inside the box. Crosses for Hendrick. Hendrick has shooting space. And he scores! That's an incredible goal from Jeff Hendrick, who looked like the chance had gone. took a bit of a dead first touch, but then wound up and hits a beautiful strike from the top right corner of the box into the upper left corner. It's 2-0 Newcastle, and that should seal all 3 points. You can see the drive here from the newly introduced Almiron. He does a nice 1-2 with Andy Carroll. Sees Jeff Hendrick open at the right side of the box after being challenged by Fredericks. Great pass across. You see this first touch from Hendrick. Looks to kind of kill the chance. He takes it a little bit wide. It's well defended by Cresswell, but Cresswell doesn't close the space down. And so Hendrick just kind of swivels and punches that one across the face of goal and ends up drilling it into the top left corner. It's an excellent strike from Hendrick, and he has now been involved in both goals, assisting on the first, scoring the second. It's a huge day for Hendrick and a huge opener here for Newcastle United. They are up 2-0, and they look destined to take home 3 points today. Game restarted now by West Ham. It's with Cresswell. Almost 88 minutes gone as Haller collects this one, but he is offsides. And in the meantime, we've had a substitution for Newcastle. Andy Carroll, who has put in quite a shift today, finally involved in the build-up to that second goal, and absolutely massive on the defensive end, on crosses, set pieces into the box. He has been withdrawn for, I believe, Sean, or I think it's Sean. I might be screwing this up. Longstaff. So Longstaff on to try to close this one out. Felipe Anderson has just been introduced for West Ham. Try to create some sort of spark, but again, down 2 goals here in the 80th minute. That's a terrible clearance from Darlow. He's fortunately bailed out by Federico Fernandez. Clears that one further up the field. Haller's pass, however, escapes everyone. It finds the feet of Joelinton, and now Almiron with it again. Here's Shelvey. Back out to Almiron. He'll just reset to Jamal Lewis. They'll pass in between each other as Jamal Lewis is forced to retreat by Yarmolenko. Again, Newcastle happy to just kill the clock here, keep possession, see this one out. Up 2 goals now with just under a minute remaining in regulation. Again, should still have 3 to 4 minutes of stoppage time, but does lose out here on the right-hand line. It's now Antonio. This one poked away from him by Fernandez. It will be another corner to West Ham. There's 6 of the match, the half, and the first one that Andy Carroll will not be in to defend here. So we'll see if West Ham can take advantage of the absence of Carroll to try to give themselves some sort of lifeline into this match. Here's Yarmolenko with the delivery. It's short for Haller. Goes through him, but is deflected away by Newcastle, only as far as Ogbonna, top of the box here. Now Rice. Cresswell. Rice. Cresswell crossing on the right. Gets it in, but it's too close to Darlow, who initially fumbles the ball, but able to catch it on the second go. And will collect that one, and the danger will pass for Newcastle. We have reached the end of regulation here. 90 minutes on the clock. Be going into stoppage time. We don't have an indication yet, at least on the broadcast I'm watching, of what the time is. Should have it here in just a couple of seconds. As the clearance from Darlow will escape his teammates. It's collected by West Ham and finds himself on the right-hand line with Yarmolenko. Cleared out for a throw in here. He will look back towards Issa Diop. Diop over to Ogbonna. Now Souček. Souček looking inside. Good flicked pass there by Yarmolenko out to Fredericks. Fredericks has Longstaff for company. Now Jamal Lewis blocking Antonio's cross. Antonio will get back on it. Crosses again. But Manquillo is there, and a good clearance from the right back will find Shelvey. And now Almiron, who has been very energetic since being introduced here, will look up the line for Joelinton. He will hold up play, look back for Shelvey. Shelvey clipping this one over to Longstaff. Longstaff back to Shelvey. 5 minutes of stoppage time have been put up on the board. We are 1 minute into that 5 minutes of stoppage time, so just 4 minutes remaining here for West Ham to try to get something, some sort of lifeline into this match. As a bit of a mishit pass there from Manquillo will result in Joelinton being offside as he tries to collect it. West Ham have restarted. Felipe Anderson with his first touch of the match. Nice pass into Rice. Now out to Haller. Haller cuts it back. Looking across the field is forced back by Longstaff here. Fredericks, Yarmolenko on the right now. 2 defenders around him, but does get the better of Lewis. His cross gets in, but it's cleared by Fernandez. Fredericks challenging Joelinton for the ball. Will get there second, but Almiron has it. So play goes on. Almiron with a 1-2 from Shelby, but can't quite get on the end of it. Excuse me. And he is down in a heap after being challenged by Fredericks, but no call from the referee. West Ham will get possession back. Move it out to Felipe Anderson here. 2 minutes gone in stoppage time. Just 3 remain as Anderson's pass cannot find Antonio. Hendrick now has it. He is challenged by Anderson from behind cleanly. And Anderson will pick it back up. He now has some room to run here. Moving towards the defensive line of Newcastle. Plays a 1-2 with Allaire. Now it's out to Yarmolenko. He's one-on-one with Lewis. Beats him. His shot is saved by Darlow. The ball bounces around a little bit, but in the end, it's cleared away by the Newcastle defense. And now Almiron has the beating of Diop. He's in behind the West Ham line. Off to the left here. His shot is deflected, and it will go out for a corner kick here. Chance there to make it 3 for Miguel Almiron. Was in behind Diop after that missed header. You can see the speed difference here on the replay as bursts in behind them, but some good positioning from Angelo Ogbonna makes the shot difficult for Almiron there and does a nice job getting a deflection on it. Here's that chance for Yarmolenko. Did have the beating of Jamal Lewis. Got a decent shot off. Darlow saw it the whole way, but kind of punched it into one of his own players and was fortunate that that ball fell to the feet of, I believe, Jamal Lascelles and was able to be cleared. 93 minutes on the clock here, 93 and a half. John Joe Shelby happy to take his time here setting up for the ensuing corner kick. West Ham players are certainly aggrieved by how long it's taken him to get up the field, but this is fairly normal play for the end of a match as being held in the corner here by Joelinton. Felipe Anderson's there to challenge him. Joelinton does a great job. Now Shelby in behind here on the baseline, looks across. The cross is deflected, comes out to the top of the box, and Allaire has been able to play it out to Yarmolenko. So the danger has passed. West Ham now back in possession, and it's with Rice. 94 minutes on the clock, just a minute remaining in stoppage time. This one looks like it will end in a Newcastle victory. A great start for them to this new Premier League season as Yarmolenko a couple step overs here, but goes out to Fredericks. His cross is poor. It's too close to Darlow, and the Newcastle keeper will collect this one and should be able to eat most of the remaining 30 seconds of this match up with the ball in his hands. Bounce it a couple times here, pushing his team up the field. Now goes to punt. This one will go all the way up towards Cresswell, who wins the header. Hendrick loses out to Souček here in midfield, and it ends up at the feet of Cresswell. Referee checking his watch here, just a couple seconds remaining as this one is heaved towards Antonio, but Fernandez wins the header. Shelby collects the ball, and that should be all she wrote. The referee puts the whistle to his mouth, blows for full time, and Newcastle United coming out here with a 2-0 victory in their season opener. Goals from Callum Wilson and Jeff Hendrick today, able to seal this 2-0 victory. So great start to the season for Newcastle. They joined the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, and Crystal Palace with wins today. We will see the rest of the teams outside of Manchester City, Burnley, Manchester United, and Aston Villa tomorrow and Monday for the first weekend of this new Premier League season. Thank you once again for joining us here today. Thank you for tuning in for any amount of time. I do hope you appreciated the broadcast and the stream, and hope you enjoyed the match as well. And that'll wrap up our broadcasting for today. I'm going to kind of briefly go through some thoughts for the match and maybe talk through a couple player ratings, and then we'll sign off. So yeah, very slow first half, very slow start to the second half as well. Kind of crucial that we got a goal, and it came about the way you would expect. I mean, the way that match was going, it was always going to be scrappy. But Newcastle able to find the break, and Callum Wilson on hand to do it. New signing from Bournemouth. He's a very good striker. They just picked him up, and debut goal will reward them for that signing. So That's obviously the game winner, and Hendrick was involved in the build-up to that with the assist and gets the second goal after some nice work from Almiron, who was super energetic after being subbed on, it has to be said. So overall, I think Newcastle can be really happy with sort of the second half of the second half. The rest of the match kind of boring on the whole, but good result for them and a good start. And I guess a decent end to the end of our first Premier League day, our first day of the new season here. So we'll walk through the player ratings a little bit here. Let's see what we have. We'll start with West Ham because I think I can kind of breeze through these. So kind of sixes across the line. 6-6 for Fredericks, 6 for Diop, 6.5 for Agbana, 5.8 for Cresswell. I think it's a little generous for Fredericks. He was probably the most involved of the defenders, though. So we're looking back at some highlights here from earlier on. Agbana hitting the bar on a set piece. Didn't look like it was ever going in, hits the top, and Darlow had a hand there. But I think most of the defenders can kind of come out with 6s. I don't think they were terrible. They were pretty solid for most of the match. They got a little unfortunate on that first goal with a couple deflections leading to Wilson scoring, and then they kind of have to open themselves up just a little bit, and that results in the space for Hendrick and Almiron on the second. So overall, not a terrible performance from the West Ham defense at all, I would say. So I think fair to give Fredericks maybe a 6.5. The rest kind of 6s across the board. Souček and Declan Rice got 6.2, 6.5. I think they're 6s. They did their job. They did what they needed. They didn't do anything spectacular or, really didn't do anything special. Just kind of did their jobs there as midfield anchors, but nothing spectacular in that. Nothing terrible either, and that brings you to 6s. Jared Bowen, 5.7. Mark Noble, 5.9. Pablo Fornals, 6.3. I think you give Jared Bowen a 5.5. He was very uninvolved in the match, and I think that's partially due to West Ham just being a little poor or a little stagnant today. And also him maybe not having his best performance. So I think 5.5. I think you could even go as low as 5.0, and I wouldn't question you. Just very uninvolved. I think Mark Noble's 6.0 is also a bit generous for him. Probably the most uninvolved of the three midfielders. And, when you're a defensively minded, possession-oriented, win the ball back kind of midfielder, move possession forward, I think he did that the least of the three of them. Declan Rice and Souček certainly seemed more involved to me. Fornals' rating of 6.3 I think is a bit high. Again, there wasn't a whole lot going on for West Ham, and you would expect him and Bowen to be your creative players, and so I think the 6.3 is a bit generous. I would put him at about a 5.5, maybe a 6.0, feeling generous. Antonio, I think, deserves a 6.0. He was asked to do a tough job, hold up play. Again, they were uninspired. They didn't have a lot of options. They just kept basically clipping long balls to him and hoping he could do something with it. So I'd give him a 6.0 for doing his very best with, I think, what was available to him. All right, let's look at the Newcastle players. I think, and Fabianski, he gets a 5. I don't know. I'd give him a 6. He could have done better on the first. I don't think there's anything he can do about the second. I think that's Cresswell's fault mostly, so I think 5.0 is harsh. Carl Darlow gets a 7.3. I think 7's fine. He made the saves he needed to. He made one good save on Yarmolenko. Caught what he needed to. Didn't do anything spectacular, but kept a clean sheet, so 7 for him. I think Manquillo was good. He has the yellow card, so I think he should probably get a 7, not a 7.5. Super involved. He was pretty involved attacking. I think Jamal Lewis was less involved attacking, but the yellow card gives you a little bit of a ding. I think Jamal Lascelles deserves probably a 7.5. I think he and Federico Fernandez both deserve 5s. I think they're very strong. They won all their head balls. They won all their aerial duels. They seem to be in command. They never seemed phased by Antonio, or they never seemed phased by West Ham's attack, so I give him 7.5s. I think Jamal Lewis, maybe a 7. You could also give him a 7.5. I think either's fair. He was solid. I think a little less involved in attack than Manquillo was, but didn't pick up a yellow card. St. Maximin, I think a 7. Probably fair. Did a lot of work in the first half trying to dribble out possession. Got fouled a lot by Fredericks in that match. So maybe not the most inspiring performance by him, but very solid. Solid in defense. And was able to keep possession and move it out of the back half for Newcastle. Isaac Hayden, I'd give him a 6.5. You know what, 7's fair. He did his job pretty well. I think a little bit better than the West Ham midfield did. Shelby with a 7.5. I think that's fair. I think he was their most creative influence. Maybe not directly involved in the goals, but had a lot in the build-up play and had a lot of good crosses, good opportunity creation for them. And maybe not his best performance, but was very solid and also solid defensively. Hendrick, he's the man of the match. He's got an assist and a goal to his name. The second goal is a really good strike. He was also super solid defensively, kept shape very well, pressured well. I think overall a very, very good performance by Hendrick. I think he and his manager will be thrilled with how he played today. Callum Wilson, I think an 8's fair. He has the goal, debut goal, held up play pretty well, looked pretty solid throughout the match in the partnership with Carroll. I think it was a good performance by him, and I think Carroll deserves a 7.5. I think despite not being maybe as good as he could have been in the attacking third, winning head balls, he held up play well, and I think defensively, actually, he was super good on all of the set plays, so I'd give him a 7.5. So that wraps up my summary of player ratings, and that'll be the end of the stream. So thanks anyone who tuned in. Thanks you for tuning in, and hope to see you next time. I'll have a schedule up later today. I can't stream tomorrow. I am going somewhere with a couple of friends, but I will certainly be streaming the game on Monday, and we'll be back for next weekend's game as well. So thanks again, and have a wonderful day.